So there's this marriage therapist in Washington State named Gottman, last name Gottman. They created a marriage institute, and they would bring in couples who were struggling, and they would hook them up to all the wires for biofeedback, pulse rate, respirations, and they would have the couple sit and talk, and they would make transcripts of the couples, everything that they communicated, and then they analyzed it. And they got so that they could predict divorce rates over 90% with 90% accuracy. And they said the couples that are going to divorce, there's four horsemen of the apocalypse. These themes that we see, they saw in their communication, these four things consistently with the couples that were really struggling. Criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. Criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. It's not that they couldn't change that. It's that if they refuse to change that and they double down and they harden their hearts further, it would be very, very difficult to maintain a relationship. Unless, sometimes I learned this when I was being trained in marriage counseling, sometimes couples will stay together because they have committed anger. What I mean is like, I'm not going to break up with you. I'm going to stay and punish you and give you, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. It's highly stable, unhealthy relationships. Yikes. So what do you do if you're in that place and if this sounds like you or somebody you know? What's the remedy? For a lot of this, to be honest, if I just had to speak from the heart, sitting with couples, and I would say this in work relationships as well, for sure, just relationships in general. The people that you sit with, by and large, I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but by and large, the people that you see that do the turnaround, that do amazing things, that really grow, that get to see the miracle, are people that focus on themselves and cleaning up their own side of the street and taking personal responsibility. The people that stay stuck and they have hard hearts and they look at their spouse and say, this will get better when you change. Or you coworker, unreasonable person, when you change, this is going to get better. It doesn't get better. It just doesn't. So what do you do if you have a critical heart towards your spouse? Learn to do gentle startups in conversations instead of hitting them. Soften your language. Show them more love. Defensiveness. How do you get out of defensiveness? You take responsibility. You say, what can I do? Contempt. Instead of having contempt and disdain for your spouse or your coworker, why not build a culture of appreciation? Start thinking about, well, what do they do? What are they doing that's positive? They're doing some things. Even your worst employee is doing something right. Stonewalling. Find other ways to cope other than just numbing out. Do some self-soothing and then return and deal with the situation. So there's lots of different ways that you can go about that.